It's the 1980s, and as art prices skyrocket, professional thieves turn from robbing banks to robbing museums. Boston's Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is one of a kind, a gem of a target thanks to its peerless collection of old masters. When it opens in 1903, the Gardner boasts the largest private collection of art in America. The two thieves have a clear, detailed plan. They start by approaching the museum wearing stolen police uniforms. The only question is, will their disguises work?
So, there they are, outside the door. There's a closed-circuit TV camera, shining right down on them. Inside the museum, less than 30 feet away, Henrik sees these two men announcing themselves police officers. We're here to investigate a disturbance. What disturbance? There's no disturbance here.
The policy at the Gardner Museum, if nobody gets in the museum after it's closed, even if it's Boston police or law enforcement, what you're supposed to do is call Boston police.
Rick Abbott is familiar with the protocol, but he chooses not to follow it. He lets the two men inside the first door. Thanks to the man trap, he has one more chance to look them over.
Rick, he was very trusting and a good-hearted person. He decided it'd be okay to let him in. And unfortunately, it went totally wrong.
Instead of following protocol, Rick buzzes them in, and the heist is on.
Henrik says to them, "There's nothing going on." They ask, "Who else is in the museum?" "There's one other guard. Call him down." Henrik has a two-way radio. He calls down Randy.
As that second guard comes to the guard desk, the individuals claiming to be Boston police officers tell the guard at the desk, "Can I see your ID?" And at that point, the alleged officers say, "There's a warrant out for your arrest."
Henrik says, no, I don't want it for anything. By stepping away, he is going to be out of reach from hitting the alarm bell. The one security alarm bell the museum has to the outside world.
And at that point, they place handcuffs on the first guard. The other guard who came down to the first floor, they tell him to get up against the wall.
And Randy's going, "Oh my God, what is going on? What did Rick do?" But then no sooner is he wondering this than he's being handcuffed.
That's when the one bad guy declared, "Gentlemen, this is a robbery."
The fake police take control of the real guards and tell them what will happen if they tell the cops anything about the robbery. And it's not pretty.
Tells him, "We now know who you are and where you live. Keep quiet, cooperate, and don't ever say anything, or we're gonna come hunt you down."
They proceed to tape their eyes so they can't see where they're going, and then they're moved, and both led down to the basement.
At that moment, those guards didn't know if they were gonna live or die.
With the guards under control, the men now have free reign of the entire museum. But their movements are still being tracked by the motion detectors throughout the building.
The dot matrix printer that is tracking movement through the galleries shows exactly where they went, for how long, and what they did there. It's the closest thing, I think, to sort of peeking through a keyhole and watching the whole thing unfold.
The two thieves head to the second floor filled with masterpieces of the Dutch Golden Age. They start with a painting worth an estimated $100 million. Rembrandt's Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee.
It's an enormous painting on which we see Christ and the apostles at sea in a storm. And the apostles look like they're staring death in the face, and Christ alone is just serene among them. And if you look very closely, there's Rembrandt. He's painted himself in it. So it's a remarkable painting. It's full of movement and fury, and it's his only seascape. So it is one of a kind. And the way they take it is brutal. They slash it from its rosewood stretcher. They slash it right out of the frame.
They did the same butcher job to the prize of the room, Vermeer's concert.
So they're really wreaking havoc inside the room.
What they did to priceless art was violent.
There's broken glass and splinters everywhere.
They take a Rembrandt etching. It's about the size of a postage stamp, but it's in a very elaborate frame. And we know that they spend the time unscrewing every screw on that frame. Requires a special tool.
If you're stealing millions of dollars worth of paintings, you would imagine time would be of the essence, that you wouldn't be spending time unscrewing this item and then taking it out of the frame, when frankly, you probably could have put it in your pocket.
And they took one more thing from the Dutch room, which doesn't fit with the theme of that room, a 12th century Chinese ku or beaker.
It's an ancient Chinese vase that they decided to take. You'd think you could just grab that off the table, but that was actually screwed to the table. So somebody wasted significant time getting that ku, which again is not close to being in the top 300 items of value in that museum.
There seems to be no pattern to the items they're taking. They aren't the most valuable, nor the easiest to carry. The violent way the thieves cut the paintings from the frames suggests they don't understand the true value of the art. While they may not know a lot about the art they're stealing, they do seem to know a lot about the museum's security setup.
The bad guys, when they left, they saw that motion detector transcript was being printed out at the guard's desk, and they ripped that out to steal the transcript of where they had been, how they had done it.
Then the thieves go into the security office and take the videotape from that evening. So obviously we couldn't see what the security camera showed during the robbery. One leaves first, and a few minutes later the second leaves, and that's it. They get in the car, presumably drive away, and those paintings or individuals are never seen or heard from again.